Welcome to the new Renault Captur, the second generation Renault Captur, which is quite an important deal for Renault because they sell more versions of this car than any other model in their range, more than the Clio and more than the Megane. So by definition, this is the most important car they sell. Now, if you think back to 2013 when the Captur was first launched, the only rival for that car was the Nissan Juke. Now, fast forward to today, and there are more than 20 different rivals for the Captur. So Renault has invested a lot of time and a lot of money into making this car as appealing as possible. Now, the main change, obviously, as you can tell, is the design. It's kind of morphed from a sort of mini MPV into a proper baby crossover. The way these cars look is a huge reason as to why people buy these sorts of cars. So Renault's really spent a lot of time and agonized over the way this car looks. So if you head to the front, the obvious change is the new LED C-shaped headlamps, which are carried over from the Clio. So there's a sort of familiar design DNA there. But if you come down to the side as well, and if you look at this car in profile, this is where you can really visualize and see the Captur's growth in size. It's slightly taller than the car it replaces, but it's about 100 millimeters wider, and the wheelbase has also been stretched to give passengers inside a little more legroom. Now, if you come round to the back, again, like the front, it's been completely redesigned, so there are new LED tail lamps. They're standard across the range, regardless of your trim level. And Renault has also spent a lot of time making this car available with a lot of option packs. So in total, there are 90 different combinations when it comes to the body colour, the roof colour, the alloy wheels, and the optional packs. So buyers can really make this car their own.
It's just as practical as before, thanks to Renault sticking with a sliding rear bench and split-level boot floor. With the rear seats in their most forward position, the maximum storage space is a whopping 536 litres. For context, that's just shy of what you get in a BMW X3.
Now, the Captur's growth spurt has been made possible by Renault moving the car to a new platform that it calls CMFB. Now, as well as underpinning the new Captur, it will underpin a range of future cars from Nissan as well as Mitsubishi in the future. But the Captur is one of the first cars to feature it. Now, as well as that increased size, the new platform has also allowed Renault to introduce a new generation of engines. There are 3 petrol, 2 diesel, and most importantly, a new plug-in hybrid for the very first time.
Renault calls it the E-Tech plug-in. The powertrain combines a new 1.6-litre petrol engine with 2 electric motors, which all drives through a new multi-mode direct transmission gearbox. There are no fuel economy figures to speak of just yet, but Renault has said drivers should be able to cover about 28 miles, 45 kilometres, on electric power alone. And when it arrives in 2020, it will be the only plug-in hybrid crossover in its segment.
So like the exterior, once inside, Renault has completely redesigned the cabin of the new Captur, and to be honest, it really needed it because it was beginning to feel its age. So first impressions then, it feels a lot more premium than the model it's about to replace. The materials that you immediately touch, the steering wheel, bits of the centre console, the dash, everything's a lot softer, a lot more plush, and it feels like a slightly more upmarket car, as it now looks. In terms of technology, Renault has addressed that as well. So the driver now has a 10-inch display behind the steering wheel, which is customizable. You can flick between the car's driving data to show the fuel economy, the climate control, the media, and even the satellite navigation. So really easy to use, really clear, really crisp, really good addition. On the dash, Renault has also replaced its rather clunky looking integrated infotainment system with a much larger 9.3-inch display, which has been carried over from the Clio, this sort of Tesla-style portrait-like screen. And it looks really good. It's really nicely integrated. And unlike the current version, the interface is really easy to use. It looks really slick. The graphics are really sharp. It's a much more improved system than what you currently get. But if you want to bypass that, Renault has added Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so you can use your smartphone to use the navigation and the media, and with a couple of USB ports down there, you just plug it in and off you go. Now, another little neat design feature is this new floating centre console, which is being made possible by the new gear lever. So it's a shift-by-wire system, which doesn't physically connect it to the gearbox, it's all electronic. But that's allowed Renault to sort of carve out this space beneath the centre console and add an extra little bit of storage, and it actually looks really good as well. So if you add that extra storage to all of the glove box, which is a sort of weird cabinet style unit, and the door bin space, there's about 27 litres of extra space in here, which is quite handy. So overall then, like the exterior, a huge improvement in terms of design and quality.
The new Captur goes on sale in the UK in the first few months of 2020, priced from around £15,000. But has Renault done enough to fend off the Captur's growing pool of rivals? Let us know what you think in the comments below.